Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. One of the things I've experimented with over the years is a laser engraver. I use it for a fair amount of projects. I have a small version that I bought just on, I think it was from Walmart actually, a couple years ago. It was just a little 300 milliwatt class 1, not very powerful, pretty slow. Had a really small, about 4" by 4" engraving area. So what I'm doing today is upgrading that a little bit. I bought a Longer Ray5, the 5-watt version. And we're going to be unboxing that, putting that together, and then going through a little of the initial setup. I'll walk you through it. Here we go. So this is the Longer Ray5 and how it comes from Amazon. I think you can get it a few different places. So get your little user guide, and then underneath this top piece of foam, you have the various different parts that we're going to pull out and assemble. So there's a kind of center trolley that moves up and down, back and forth rather, and there's an outer frame and a screen, because there are a few different options for how you use this. It can be wired directly to your computer. It can also be run off a TF card. So you have a few different choices for this. We'll get this unboxed and we'll start putting it together. All right, inside the box, you're gonna have the main screen assembly with the wires coming off of it. There's a USB cable, a pair of safety glasses, your assorted hardware for assembly, these 3 plates, the X-axis arm, and then the outer frame. You'll also find the power supply and the laser unit itself. First step in assembly is going to deal with the frame itself. So we're going to move some of these pieces out the way, and we're going to work with this guy right here. So we'll unwrap this and get it laid out. So with the frame then, there are 2 longer pieces, pun not intended, that have measurements on them. There's a piece that says longer on it, which is shorter than the other 2 side pieces. And there's one that doesn't have any writing on it at all. So this one that says longer on it, that's going to be your front piece. That's going to come down here. We're actually going to deal with that later. And then these 2 that have the markings, these are going to be your sides, and you're going to orient these so that the markings are kind of faced towards you, right? So the 0 starts here. Flip that one around as well, like that. And then this guy is going to go along the back. And then there are brackets in our bracketry bag that we're going to use to actually assemble these. So here's the contents of our hardware bag, and Longer does something I've never actually seen anybody else do, which I really actually appreciate. The labels on these bags, instead of putting all the screws together, they arrange everything by step. So this bag has everything you need for steps 1 and 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. Since we're currently on step 1, this is the bag we're going to need. Super convenient, makes this very easy to assemble. So we're going to open up this. It's going to give us our corner brackets and some of the screws that we need. All right, so in the bracket you've got these little corner pieces. There's a marked groove on it, so you can kind of see there's like a cutout piece. That's what's going to go into the back. And then the part without the groove, that goes down the side. Now, it looks as though you're going to line something up here, but these are a little counterintuitive on this. So there's a hole here. That hole is going to allow a black screw to come through like this and hook actually into the end of this frame. The frame's going to sit like that, and what you're actually going to end up doing is aligning this so that the bracket sits inside of this frame. So it's going to look something like this. So I've got bolt threaded through into this back frame, and this bracket is sliding in here with the notched portion lining up against the back edge like that. The only thing I forgot to do, and don't forget this, so I'm going to loosen the screw, you want this to be threaded in here as well. Alright, that's better. So you can see this is set into this channel. The groove, the little notch, is right about there. And then one of the smaller versions of these Allen keys that you'll find also in this bag will let you turn these little set screws to tighten this in to kind of lock it in place. Alright, so when you're done, it's going to look like this. So I've got both brackets in. Use the smaller Allen key to tighten those 2 screws. There's also a black screw that runs through the edge of the frame that runs down. This is all sitting on a level surface, but this end is open currently. So our next step is going to be to get the kind of trolley that moves back and forth, and we're going to insert that in this middle space. All right, so when installed, this is how it's going to work. So you've got kind of 3 nylon rollers. 2 of them go on the top, 1 on the bottom. and you're going to line it up so the rollers sit in those channels like that, and orient it so the longer cymbal points back towards the front, and this assembly hangs off the back. That should flow freely, and if you built everything correctly, this little limit screw that stops this from sliding off the end should be on the left-hand side. So you're just going to roll that down and get it positioned about midway back. All right, once the trolley is threaded down a bit, you can repeat the same process in the back to install the front bar, again aligning the groove so that the groove is kind of pointed in here. So the solid piece should be in the side rail, the grooved one goes into the front bar, and then you run the black screws from the ends. All right, at the end of step 3, you should have this. You've got an outer frame, the trolley is running on the rails, this front bar is installed with longer pointed up, so kind of up at you as you're standing over it. All of your set screws are tightened up, and you've got your black screws tightened from the end. That's going to bring you to step 4, which is going to need these feet, this control box, and then the little hardware bag that says step 4 on it. And my lighting's a little bit weird here, but in the bag for step 4, you have a bunch of screws that are all the same length, and you have 2 that are different. There's this one little nylon washer, and then this one short screw. The short screw is going to be used in the top corner of the control box where that gets installed. The washer in one of the longer screws is going to thread on this left side here to form as a limit for the rail to stop this from banging into the frame. So you're going to do the long screw and a washer here so that you've got a limit screw in the left and the front, and the one that was pre-installed on the back, so that'll go up here. And then we'll have the other long screws are going to attach the brackets and feet, which are these 3 guys right here. So I'm going to get the limit screw installed first, and then we'll deal with the feet. Okay, for leg installation, the legs are going to install like this. So you're going to sit like this on your desk, and then these 2 longer screws are going to run through the top and thread into the holes there and there. On the left side, you'll have the control box. There's going to be a long screw that's going to thread into that hole right there, and then the short screw is going to actually thread into this end hole on the end of this left piece of the frame. So we'll get those installed, and then we're going to flip it around to the back, and the back is easy. It's the same thing. The legs orient like this, and the screws go through and go into the threaded holes you can kind of see right there. All right, step 5 is maybe the most complicated, at least that I've come up to so far with this install, and it has to do with these timing belts. So the timing belts are what allows this drive unit to move smoothly up and down along the frame here. And you can see it flows really easy, but when the motor turns, this is what's actually going to propel it. So what you're going to do is take one of these belts per side. So I'll get one of these out of the way. You're going to take 2 screws and 2 of these little silver T-brackets, and that's going to be your install. Now for the belt, you take the belt and your tooth side is going to go down, and we're going to line this up, but we'll go to either the front or the back, and we're going to position the belt in the groove like this. All right, so we're kind of just like resting it up into the edge here. Then we're going to take one of these little silver brackets, and we're going to place it into that groove and then turn it so that it sits sideways in the groove. Okay, so we're going to put it in like this and then turn it so it's sideways in the groove, and then we'll use one of the set screws, and that's going to tighten this down. So it's going to push against the base and tighten this little bracket in, which will then stop this belt from moving. Then we're going to take the belt and we're going to thread it up and over this guy right here, and then run it all the way down to the other end and do the same thing, pulling it tight by hand. So you don't want to over tighten this, but we do want it to be pretty snug. I'm going to have to do this with the phone down, but looking at these brackets, see that they are directional. So there's a smooth side and there's a side with some grooves in it and this little kind of bump that sticks up in the middle. It sits like that. So the little knockout, the bump, and the groove side points up. The smooth side is going to push down against the belt. So this is what it looks like with it in the groove. And when you go to actually position this, I set this down so you can see it. You see there's kind of a curved edge and a flat edge. In order to get it to turn in this groove, you have to turn against the curve, which typically means turning it to the right. And then once that's in place, we can run our set screw in, and that's going to lock this belt down. And I'll actually pick the whole frame up and turn it. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And when you thread the belt, you're going to want to go underneath the roller here and up over the silver grooved piece, under the roller on the other side, and then straight down to where we're going to tighten the other end. So that's with the screw installed, and you can see it's nice and tight, and the tooth side of the belt is pointed down. So now I'll run it, thread it up, under here, over, under, to the other side, and we'll tighten the other side too. Okay, so I've got the whole thing flipped around, so my control box is now up there. But this is what you're going to be looking at. So you can kind of see the belt comes down, it runs up, around, and under, and then I just pulled it so it's tight. I didn't pull it super tight, like I don't want to stretch the belt, but you want it to be snug. And then screwed this one in here and left this a little bit on the end, so if I ever need to make fine adjustments or modify things, I have the ability to sneak it down if I need to on this and just hang off the back. I'm not going to cut this off. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll be done with that step. All right, step 5 is done. I've got my belt run on both sides. Trolley still moves clean. We're tightened down on the end on both, and the front's here. Now we can move on to step 6, which involves mounting the laser itself. So you're gonna need your laser, obviously, for that, and then your bag that says step 6. And your laser is going to mount directly into this channel here, and it allows it for it to slide a little bit. That's how you adjust for your material depth. So there's going to be screws and then some nuts that go on from the back side. So I misspoke. Would have made sense if I had read the instructions first. But the thumb screws are going to go on the side of the laser head right here. So there's one here and one there. There's a little threaded piece. And then these two small screws with the little nylon spacers actually thread in from the back. There's 2 threaded holes in the back of the laser assembly, and that's going to keep it from wobbling side to side and keep it straight up and down so you get the best focus and best directional position of the laser. So pop your thumb screws in first, flip the whole thing around, and then these guys will thread in from the back. So this is what it looks like from the back. It's a little bit hard to see. Sorry about my lighting here, but this is the back of the thumb screws, and then the other 2 go into these channels right up here. So there's one there and one over on the other side, so that as this slides, those will move in that top channel just to give it some extra stability. All right, our last step then is going to be to connect the cable from the control box to this assembly. So there's 3 different plugs. They should be pretty self-explanatory. This first plug, that's going to go into this drive motor here. There's a plug on the back for that. This wide one from the end is going to go into the drive motor up here. And then this shorter one, this little 3-pin, is going to go into the top of the laser head itself. So the diagram, or the box rather, comes with a small memory card which has a couple logo images on it. So just doing a quick test of our laser engraver with the basic logo and all of the normal config settings. I haven't adjusted anything at this point. Just using one of the pieces of wood that came with it, the logo image, and off it runs. So I'm impressed so far. That cut really fast. Did a really good job too. It's very precise on the engraving. The lines are very clean, and that's without doing any settings or any custom software, just using what's already in the box. In a future video, I'll talk through some of the software that's available and how to actually use a machine like this as I figure it out. But that's it for the setup. Not overly complicated. They give you everything that you need. Instructions are very straightforward. Build quality in this thing is very good. Only kind of tricky step is the belt, but if you just kind of follow along, that's not too hard either. So this then being the end of a DIY dad video, I of course owe you a dad joke. So, how can you tell when winter is about to arrive? August leaves. All right, remember, with any DIY project, it doesn't have to be perfect. Most important step is just to do it. Take care, stay safe. Catch you on the next one. Bye.